Good morning and welcome to another ACY Securities Market Update. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. Now, I'm going to have a look at a couple of things today, but mostly it's going to be looking at yesterday's results, some of the information that we saw from the Fed on Friday and how it has affected price upon open yesterday, and of course, what is going on for the day ahead. So, yesterday's results, we saw manufacturing PMI out of China come in. Now, the previous was 51.1. And the actual that has come out today is 40.3. So we're getting indications of more data out of China that is saying that a contraction is occurring and that it is likely to expand into other elements of data coming out of China. Now, to add to that, the US had their ISM manufacturing report come out yesterday as well. And now they had a 0.8 drop, which isn't massive, but it's dropped to 50.1. So they're just barely treading water in the expansion zone. And remember, when it comes to those ISM reports, anything below a 50 is considered a contraction, whilst anything above is considered an expansion. Now, the bigger news that we saw from yesterday is actually following on from stuff that happened on Friday. Now, Friday night, Jerome Powell came out and sort of said that they were ready to do anything that was necessary from the Fed in terms of helping monetary policy and, of course, their global economy if they could. So a lot of people took that as we're likely going to see a rate cut from the US sometime soon. Now, systematically from that point on, we've seen the BOJ, or the Bank of Japan, the Bank of England, and obviously the Fed already say that in one way or another they are willing to support the economy. Now, what does that picture actually look like? Well, in the US, they actually have a little bit of room where they can cut rates. But in the Bank of Japan, they don't have that option. Japan has been at a negative 0.1 interest rate percent for quite some time. So it means that their quantitative easing programs and asset purchase programs are likely going to be starting back up again. Now, the ECB has said that they are awaiting more indicators that are going to show a persistent global impact in the market, as they currently feel it's just not happened fast enough just yet. They feel that this coronavirus and the rest of the things going on, they're going, okay, well, we want to see exactly if this is going to be a persistent and it's going to be an ongoing thing and it's going to be attacking the economy further than it just being a short-lived episode. So they're waiting to see that and they want to see it in the data. So keeping an eye on what comes out for the Eurozone and how the ECB is going to respond to it is going to be important. Now, just to give you guys a bit more of a picture on what's going on. Now, this is the S&P 500. I have it on an hourly chart here, and I have applied a Fibonacci extension across the overarching trend that we can see going on. Now, yesterday's announcements about the Fed and the BOJ and the Bank of England have all triggered this sort of up movement going on. And we've got a 4.4% rise over the last sort of trading day. Now, as you can see, that's really not a huge impact. You know, we had 13% slide off the board there last week. So, I'm not expecting that this will continue to go up. I don't think it's sort of the bottom where we're going. In the reality of things, we've seen people trying to price in a rate announcement that hasn't even gotten there yet. And we are looking at the other implications of coronavirus with the idea of the Fed or the BOJ or the Bank of England all putting in money and changing their fiscal policy does not equate to fixing a coronavirus with a vaccine. So, keep an eye on that sort of stuff coming up in the day ahead and the weeks ahead. I'm highly interested to see what goes on. It is a little bit exciting, to be honest. Now, the next chart I've got for you today is the Australian dollar. And I just wanted to iterate because we do have some news coming out today on the Aussie. So you can see the trend lines that I've got on this chart. You've got the top one and they are advancing in their angle and price is coming down further and further. Now, I am incredibly interested to see what happens for the Australian dollar today. At 11:30, we have Australian building approvals occurring. But the most important piece of news that I think is out today, especially taking into consideration what the Fed, the Bank of Japan, and the Bank of England have all done already, is that we have a cash rate announcement at 2:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, considering what they've already said, I'm interested to see whether Australia sort of preempts this and goes ahead with a rate cut, or if they're going to wait and hold off to see what the rest of the world does first. So keep an eye on the charts, especially if you're trading the Aussie at around 230, because it will make a difference to price, I believe. Now, the next piece of news that you've got for the day that I've identified that might be important is from Governor Carney from the Bank of England. Now, he will be speaking at about 8:30 p.m. tonight. And I believe, considering the last 24 hours, 48 hours, that he may have something more to contribute to today's data. But that's all we have for today's update so far. If anything else comes out at around 2:30 and we see a bit of change, we'll likely give you out another update then. But if you have any questions on today's content or any of the content that we've covered previously, feel free to send me a message to talktoal@acy.com. And of course, like and subscribe the video so that you can get more great content from us in the future. Have a good trading day ahead.